Now that we have our template made, let's make a macro. And what we want to do is we want to clear the form, and then we're going to add a button. So if somebody doesn't know how to run a macro, all they have to do is push a button. If our employees are using the form, we're going to make it easy. Now, the first thing we need to do is put the developer tab on our worksheet. So if I look across the top, I do not have a developer tab. So I'll go to File, and we're going to go down to Options. And right here, we're going to customize the ribbon because that's what's going across the top. Over here, we see it says developer. Click on the developer, click OK. Now, if I come across the top, I can see now I have a developer tab. So I'm going to click in the developer tab and I'm going to record a macro. Now in this first set of icons over here in the code, it says record macro. Now do be careful when recording macros because everything you do in a macro is recorded. All right, so I'm going to call this one clear invoice. And then in the description box, I'm going to write this macro clears the current invoice. Now, when I hit OK, everything from this point forward is recorded. So if I scroll my sheet, it's recorded in the VBA script. That could be important later because you might have extra lines of code for your My IT Lab homework. Okay, let's clear the invoice. So over here in C7 through C11, and I can come up here and go C7 colon C11. I'm going to select the array, hit enter, and I'm going to clear all that information out. So I'm going to hit delete on my keyboard. I'm going to go over to, let's go to E3. So in E3 where I insert date, I'm going to clear my date because I want that gone. In E6, which is where anything I put in here for the area, I want that gone, so I'll delete. Now, if My IT asks you to select non-adjacent ranges, just remember to highlight one area, press and hold your control key, highlight the other area, and then let go of your control key, then you can hit delete. All right, but I'm just going to do these one at a time. So in C13, where it says job or product, I'm going to go ahead and hit delete. In E13, the due on receipt, I'm going to hit delete. And then the range from C15, so anything I write down here in the description, all the way down to E25, I want that gone as well. So I'll hit delete. Perfect. Now, I'm going to use a Control G, which is the go to command, and I'm going to go to C7. I could also type that in the name box, but I'm going to use the go to command, Control G. Click enter. Now from here, I need to put in the information that I had before. So I'm going to type in name, enter, company name, enter, street name, enter, address, enter, city, comma, state, and then zip code. Enter, then phone. Before I hit stop recording, I want to think about where do I want my worksheet to end when I'm done. So where's my starting point? And I think I want to start on the name because when I ask somebody their name, I want to put that into the build to area. So I'm going to click in C7 and then I'll go ahead and stop recording. Ooh, that was tough. Now, when you're working on your macros, sometimes you might have to record it over and over just to get it right. I know I do. Another thing I like to do before recording a macro is maybe to do a dry run through the macro to make sure I understand what I want to do. Let's save the template. Save. I'm going to read this. It says the following features cannot be saved in a macro-free environment. Now, if I want to keep the macro, I have to make sure that I put this in a macro-enabled template. So it says to save the file with these features, click no. That's what I'm going to do. And then choose a macro-enabled file type. Okay, so I'm going to say to continue as a macro-free. Well, it wouldn't make any sense to make it macro-free if I'm recording a macro. So I'm going to click on no. Down here in the file, save as type, I'm going to change this to a macro-enabled template. Excel macro-enabled template. Make sure my file extension's good. It is. And I'll click save. Now, let's give this a try. So for the name, let's type Mary Smith at Mary Smith Incorporated. 123 A Street, Ashland, Oregon, 97520. And let's give her a phone number of 541-555-1234. I like it. Now I could click anywhere in my sheet. It doesn't matter. I could leave it there if I want it. But what I want to do is I want to run the macro. So up here in macros, I'll select macro. I only have one macro here. It says clear invoice. Now notice it says Mary Smith Inc. I'm going to run the macro and it takes it back to the prompts that I put in for my employees. Let's go ahead and save that workbook. It says documents may have personal information. That's okay. We'll say okay. Now we want to add a button. So up here on the developer tab, we're going to click this insert and this first one right here is a button. I'm going to put this right off of my invoice a little bit and I'll just put it right here so I can click on it. It says button 5. Now, this is my very first button. Why would it read button 5? I don't know. Sometimes you're going to get an error in my IT lab because it'll ask you to put button 1 and it shows up as button 3 in the homework. I don't know why Excel does that. Couldn't tell you. You may or may not get it right. I'm sorry about that. It's Excel. It's not my IT lab. Okay, I'm going to click on Clear Invoice. So I'm assigning the name to that button, and I'll click OK. Now I have button 5 over here. I want to edit the text, and with the lines around here, or the sizing handles, that means I can go into Edit, and I can click inside here, and I will delete the content and type clear. That's all it does. It just clears my form, resets it for the next one. When I'm done, I'm going to click off of the button. Now, if I click the button, I can see, let me just delete this information here, and if I hit clear, it puts it back. So it clears my form, puts everything back in. I can't move anything. If you want to edit, you need to right click, and then you can edit text. From here, should be able to change whatever I want. But once I click off of it, it goes back to clearing the form. Let's add another button. So I'll click Insert, New Button. Let's put it just right underneath here. That looks good, and I'll just click OK. I'm going to edit the text to Insert Date, and then click off of the button. Let's just try this again. Over here in name, let's go ahead and put Mary Smith. Not going to type anymore, just put her name in there so I can see. I'll hit the clear form, boom, went back to name. Perfect. Okay, guys, that's it for here. I'll meet you on the next video where we're going to make a custom function and work in some VBA script. Meet you over there.